Good morning, fourth graders. Happy Tuesday. We're happy you're back at school with us. Well, diving on into our text for today, reminder we are learning about electricity. And if I look here to the left, the title of this text is The Power of Electricity by Kathy Fergang. As we read today, we are going to be referring to details and examples in the text when explaining what the text says explicitly and drawing inferences. And we are going to be determining the main idea of the text. So as we go ahead and we do read today, we are going to be determining if our main idea is stated, meaning it is written right there in the text, or if we need to infer the main idea. So we want to pay closely attention to the text and be asking ourselves, what is this text mostly about? Then, if there's a sentence that really grasps what the paragraphs are about, we can go ahead and use that. If not, then we are going to be writing our main idea. So, let's take a little picture walk through. I see some text features. I see a pie graph, and then I also see something that looks a little bit like a brain. So, I'm wondering what we're going to be learning about. Let's go ahead and start off by reading paragraphs 1 and 2. We're chunking the paragraphs, and then we're going to go ahead and find the main idea. Paragraph 1. Imagine a world without electricity. This world would have no light switches and no lights. There would be no cars, computers, or cell phones. Almost all the technology Americans take for granted each day would cease to exist. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, a U.S. household used an average of 903 kilowatt hours per month. It is estimated that 29% of the electricity is used in the kitchen alone. That's really interesting to me. Let's go ahead and keep on reading. In today's world, most people depend on electricity and technology to live and work. People rely on electricity for light and heat. They need to cook and clean. They use it to prepare and preserve food. They use it to travel from place to place. They use it to communicate. They even rely on electricity for entertainment. Okay, so here, this paragraph is mostly about how people use and rely on technology. I'm going to be looking for a piece of text evidence that supports that. I'm looking for a main idea that supports that. And let's see here. People rely. Okay, this first sentence in paragraph 2 is really grasping what these paragraphs were about. In today's world, most people depend on electricity and technology to live and work. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm actually going to change the color and put a little star. Oh man, what am I doing here? Hold on just a second. I'm all over the place. Okay, let's go back to yellow so it matches. Okay, there we go. And it is explicitly stated. Now I need a few key details that support that people depend on electricity and technology to live and work. So this is where I'll change my color. I'm looking for an example. Why does it keep doing that? I'm wondering. There we go. I wonder if I have to click out of it. Sorry. Thanks for being patient while I'm using this. There we go. Let's try this now. Perfect. Okay, so what I do realize is that we learn the importance of it, and then I'm looking for an example of how people use technology. Almost all the technology Americans take granted would cease to exist. That's talking about the technology piece of it. And then, oh man, I am just having a hard time with this highlighter. That's okay. And then we also see them using it. It says an average of 903 kilowatts are used per month. So there's an explicit example of them using that energy. Let's look at the text feature down at the bottom. It says the U.S. household electricity consumption. So appliances, which would be something like a refrigerator and many other things, that's 35% of the electricity. Space heating, 41%. Water heating, so if you want to take a warm shower or bath, that's 18%. And then your air conditioning is 6%. So this is from the U.S. Energy Information Administration Residential Energy Consumption Survey 2011-2012. So the numbers might be a little bit different here in 2020, but I'm not quite sure. On to the next page, we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to be reading these 3 paragraphs, trying to determine the main idea, and then figuring out, is the main idea stated or do we have to infer it? So let's go ahead and begin reading. electrons on the move. But what is electricity? Most people think of it as the power that they use to run all of their appliances. But what causes this power? The answer is in the science of atoms. Okay, so here I learned that they're trying to explain what technology is. So I'm hoping in paragraph 4 and 5 that that's what they're explaining. All matter, everything in the universe is made of tiny building blocks called atoms. And all atoms are made up of particles. Positively charged particles are called protons. Particles with no charge are called neutrons. Negatively charged particles are called electrons. Protons and neutrons are packed tightly in the nucleus or center of each atom. Electrons orbit around the nucleus. Sometimes electrons get loose and move to the orbit of another atom. Electricity is the movement or flow of electrons from atom to atom. Okay, so what I really like here is that they explicitly give a definition of electricity, and that's what that whole first paragraph was about. So let's go ahead and annotate that. The electricity is the movement or flow of electrons from atom to atom. And what I do see here is that because our title is Electrons on the Move, I want to go ahead and underline what electrons are. And they are negatively charged particles Okay. And then paragraph 5. There are two types of electricity. When the electric charge is stationary or not moving, the result is static electricity. For example, if a person's clothes were to rub against a blanket, they would generate friction. This friction would cause electrons from the blanket to move to the clothing. The result would give the clothing a negatively charged static electricity. So here, in this paragraph, we learn about the two different types of electricity, and the first one is called static electricity. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and stop right here because I need to determine the main idea of this paragraph. And I know that our focus was electrons, and we also learned about electricity here. And then we learned that there are two types. So all three paragraphs really kind of had a different focus, or we're explaining different things. So I'm going to make an inference on what my main idea is. And the main idea of this paragraph is electrons, and I took that from my heading, which are negatively, powered particles move to create electricity, of which there are two types. Okay, so I really grasped everything that we annotated right there, and I inferred the main idea. So boys and girls, today as we go on, I want you to go ahead and tell me what was this entire article about? What was this entire piece of text about so far? I want you to use your headings here. Okay, boys and girls, go ahead and answer your